Prepare to die.
So what is up guys, welcome to another video. Today we are going to create this application which is a weather application. You can come here in this application and search for weather information with your location. So let's come here and say that, let's say that I wanna get the weather information about New York. So NYC, and it will give me the weather information about the New York, as you can see that. So that's the information, and that's how the weather is in the New York. And also let's say that what about the Delhi, and also you can see that. And let's also search for Dhaka. Now you can see it is working perfectly. So that's it. I hope you will like it. So no more talk, let's dive into it. So welcome to another 30 days 30 submits video, and for this video we are going to create this weather app. Okay, and if you're interested to check out this repo, I will link it in the description, where you can find all the interesting submits that I did in this 30 days 30 submits challenge. And if you come to this repo, please give it a star and I will appreciate it. So let's come to our code here. So in our HTML file, first of all, let's get a boilerplate with the exclamation sign, and you can hit tab. So it will create this boilerplate. And inside the body I will have a section, and inside the section I will have a div with the class of container. So container, and inside this div I will have another div with a class of details, and here we will have our all of weather details. So let's create some demo details. So first of all, let's create a h1 with a class of temperature. So it will contain the temperature, so temp. And here we will have a demo temperature, let's say that 30 degree, and let's say that we will have another h1, but this one will have a class of a status, and here the status will be something like cloudy. And also let's have some more info, but this one will have a div with a class of more info, so more hyphen info. And here we will have some more info. So let's say that for now we will have paragraph, where I will have also a class info1, or I don't need class, actually we have this more info, it will be enough. So inside this paragraph I will say that info1, and we will have 4 of them. So that's it. And finally we will have, if I save, as you can see that we'll have this. And after that we will have our form for the weather application, where we can search our location. So inside this more info div, let's create another element, which is the form. So for now we will not need any kind of action. And also inside this form we will have my input. So let's get the input, and here let's say that the placeholder, so placeholder will be, let's say that search location, and also let's have some dots here, and also let's name it. So name will be the location. Oh my god. And after that let's have a button to submit this form. So button, and here we will have a button, so the type will be the submit button, so submit. And also we will have a icon for the button, so let's have the icon. So for the icon we will use ion icons. So you can come here ionicons.com and search for your icon, or you can use any kind of icon library. So I'll use a right, so I think this one will work, and copy this tag and paste it wherever you want to use this icon. So I will use it inside the button, so paste it here inside the button. And also let's grab the CDN. So in the usage you will have this script, so let's paste the script before the closing body tag. And if I save, now we should see our button, and also we have this icon. So perfect, and that's it for our layout actually. And let's go to the CSS here. So now in the CSS, first of all let's link it. and this will link the CSS. So inside the CSS, first of all, let's remove all the unexpected gap here. So let's say that padding 0, and also margin will be 0, and also let's say that box sizing will be the border box. And if I save, as you can see that I don't have any kind of extra gap anymore. And after that, let's also grab a font. So for the font, we will use Google Fonts here, and let's grab the Montserrat, and that's my favorite font. Here you can see that I need 500 Montserrat, so that's the one, and grab it, grab the import tag, copy it, and here just paste it in the top of our CSS file. So now what I need, actually I need to apply this font in our HTML. So HTML, and let's say that the font family will be the Montserrat, and also let's say that the font weight will be 500. Perfect. And after that, let's go to the section, and let's say that the min height will be 100 VH, and the width will be 100%, and also let's say that display will be flex, and align items will be the center, and background color, I will grab a background color, so it will be RGB color. So you can see that there's a nice color in the background and looking good. And after that, let's come to our padding here. So padding, and the padding will be 100 pixel for the top and bottom, and 0 pixel for the left and right. And let's go to the container now, and here in the container the width will be 90%, and also let's come to the max width, and let's keep it 400 pixel. Good. After that, let's give it a background color, so BG color, and this one will be the, let me copy the color, and if I save, now you can see that that's our container. So let's make it centered, so margin 0 auto will work. Now you can see that that's our container. And now let's say that the height of the container will be a fixed height, so it will be 600 pixel. And if I save, that's looking good. And also let's position it relative, so position relative, perfect. And also display flex, and align items center, and also justify content center. And if I save, now you can see that the content inside the container is now in the center. So after that, I will have a background inside this container, so I will have a background instead of this color, as you can see. So for the background, I will use a pseudo element here. So let's come here in the container and create a pseudo element, which will be the after, and let's say that the position of the, so the position of the pseudo element will be the absolute, and that's why actually I position this container relative, because I am positioning the pseudo element absolute position. So after that, let's come to the content of the pseudo element, which will be the empty, and also let's say that the top will be 50%, and also the left will be 50%, and finally I need to transform it. So transform, translate minus 50 pixel, minus 50%, also minus 50%, and it will make these elements center of our container. And after that, the height and width, so let's keep it the height at 100%, and also the width of 100%, so it will cover all the element, means the full container. So after that, let's have a background. So the background image, I want to have actually URL, so I have this background image in my file. So you can see that the image is too big, so I can't see the image. So let's actually position it. So let's say that background position, so center, and also let's say that background size will be the cover, not contain, cover. And now you can see that that's nice background we have here. So what I need actually after that, I need to have a dark overlay. So to have the dark overlay, what I can do actually, I can use a linear gradient with this image. So let's remove this image, we don't need it. And let's say that beside this URL I will have a linear gradient, so let's say the linear gradient, and here I will have a black, so it will be the almost black. So let me copy the color, and also we will have the same for the second one. And also after the linear gradient, let's have a comma. So we have this linear gradient, and after that we have our URL for the image. So now what we will have is, if I save, now you can see that the image is darker, so we can control the opacity for it. So let's keep it something like 0.6, or actually it's okay. So to show you, I can also make it something like that, or I can decrease the opacity of this dark color. So now you can see that it is much whiter. So we can control the opacity by this linear gradient. So now keep it 0.6 and it is darker and it is looking good. Now what I need, actually I need to add some blur here. So to add some blur here, I just can say filter and blur, and I use 3 pixel. So you can see that that's looking nice, and the blur is looking also good. And the problem is, you can see that in the edge of our container it's looking ugly. So what I can do, actually I can increase the height and width of this pseudo element here. Now you can see that it's kind of bigger, this pseudo element. And also in our container we can say that overflow will be hidden. Now the bigger part or the outside of this container will be hidden, means this 20% which is extra will be cut down. And after that, what I need, actually I need to get back my content. As you can see that I don't have my content, I can't see it. So to have my content, I can say something like this pseudo element will have a z index of -1. And if I save, now you can see that we can't see this pseudo element, but we can see our content. So to fix it, we can also come here in the container and we can say that the z index will be 1. So it will fix it. Now you can see that in the behind we have our image, and in front side of this image we have this content. So looking good. And after that, let's come to the form here, and let's say that the position will be the absolute, and also the position of this form will be in the bottom, actually. So bottom 0 and also in the left 0. And also let's say that the width of this form will be 100%, and let's come to the height of this form, which will be basically 100, not 100, 50 pixel will be enough. Now you can see that that's our form in the bottom. And also let's say that display will be flex, and align items will be center, and also justify content will be the center. And that's it. If I give it, as you can see that now it is in the center. And let's come to the form input. So form input, and here let's say that the width will be 100%, and also the height will be 100%, and also outline will be none, and also border will be none. And if I save, now you can see that that's our form here, sorry, the input here, as you can see. And also what I need, actually I need to have a background color here. So the background color that I want is the hash 3a. And if I save, now you can see that that's nice background we have here. And also let's increase the font size, so 25 pixel. It's looking good. And also let's have a padding here, so padding will be 10 pixel, and now you can see that it's looking better. And also let's have a color of white. Perfect. Now whenever I will type, as you can see that the type text is actually white. Perfect. And finally I need to style this button here, as you can see, and for that I can come here in the form input, and not input, actually it's the button, and also form button, and the button type is the submit. And also come here and say that width will be 100 pixel, and also the height will be 100%, and also outline will be none, and also we don't need any kind of border none, and cursor will be pointer, and finally the background color will be hashtag 565656. And if I save, now you can see that that's our background color, and that's our button actually, 100 pixel. Also the color of the icon will be the white, looking good. And finally the font size of this icon will be 30 pixel and looking perfect. I just need some adjustment for the icon. So inside the form, I just can say that inside the button I have this iron icon, so iron icon, and for that I will have some margin top or margin bottom -6 pixel, and now you can see that it's perfectly aligned, so looking good. And finally what I need, actually I need to add some style for our placeholder. So let's come here in the form, in the input, and I need to actually style the placeholder. So that's the placeholder we can see here. So that's the placeholder. I wanna change the font family for it, so it will be the Montserrat. And if I save, now you can see that the Montserrat font is applied here, and the letter spacing will be 1.2 pixel, and color will be, actually the color is okay, we don't need to change the color, but the font size will be 17 pixel, or we can increase it 20 pixel. Yeah, looking much better I think now. 22. Yeah, perfect. So you can see that it's looking good. And finally we need to style this information here, as you can see. So for the details information of our weather, so the container details, and here let's say that width will be 100, not 100, 80%, and the margin will be 0 and auto, and background color will be, so let me grab the color for it, and if I save, now you can see that that's our background color, and we have the style for it. And let's also say that text align will be center, and also padding will be 30 pixel and 10 pixel, and also border radius will be 8 pixel. Perfect, looking good. And finally I just need some style for the temperature, so temp, so font size will be 30 pixel, and also the color will be, let me copy the color to 2V. So that's the color for our temperature. And after that, actually let's change this color, I don't like it. Yeah, that's okay. And also let's come here in our status, and let's say that the margin will be 10 pixel, 0, 30 pixel, and also the 0. And if I save, looking good. And actually I don't need to change the color, the default color is looking good, the black color. So finally I just need to style the details information, more information actually. So more info, inside the more info we have div. So let me check, we have div, or sorry, we have paragraph. So the paragraph here, what I'm doing, so the paragraph will have some margin here, so margin will be 10 pixel and 0. So now you can see that it is separated from each other, and also the font size will be, let's say, the 20 pixel. Perfect. So for the JavaScript, first of all let's come here in our HTML and link our style sheet. So script source, and I wanna add the main.js. So here, so for the JavaScript we are going to use this WeatherStack API. So you can come here, weatherstack.com, I'll link it in the description, and you can come here and just create an account, and for the initial you can use it as a free. So we are good with the free package. So let's come here and create an account, and after that let's come to the dashboard here, and you will get this access key. Just copy this access key here, and let's come here in our CSS, sorry, in our main.js. First of all, let's get a constant and name it key, and inside this just paste it inside of a code. So after that, let's grab some DOM elements. So we need to grab the form. So constant form element equals to document dot query selector, and we wanna grab the form. And here after the form, let's also grab the details one. So details equals, so document dot query selector, and we wanna get the dot details, and this will grab these details div. So perfect, we don't need to select any other things. So after that, let's come here and say that form element dot add event listener. We are going to add event listener in the form, which is the submit. So whenever we will submit the form, we will actually run this function, and inside the function, first of all, we will prevent the default behavior of the form. So e dot prevent default, and after that, let's say that we will have a loading text for our UI. So let's come here and say that details dot inner HTML equals, so we'll have h1, and here let's say that loading, and make sure to you wrap it with a quote here because that's a string. So let's test it here. So you can see that we have this form, and let's say that Dhaka, and now you can see that we have this loading text, means it is working. So now you can see that I also have another problem. I don't have this form anymore. So let me check it, what is happening. So we have these details. Okay, you can see that this is the details, and we are having our form inside our details. So that's the problem. What I need to do, actually, I need to grab the form and cut it, and I need to paste the form outside of these details. So now you can see that the details div is closing here, and we need to paste it outside of these details div. So it will be okay now. So now let's check it once again, Dhaka, and if I hit enter, now you can see that our loading text and it is okay, the form is okay. So perfect. What I need now, I need to grab this text which is I am searching. So to get this text in our JS, first of all, let's say that we will have a constant for it. So location, or you can name it query, whatever you want. So in our location, we will get this data, means search query. So let's say that e dot target dot location. So that's the name of our input. So you can see that that's our input, and we have this name. So that's what we are using. So from this input, I need the value of the input, and we are actually getting the value. And after that, I need to fetch the API with this location, which is this one. So to fetch it, first of all, let's create another function where we will do all other things. So the function name will be the weather app. So weather app. So that's the function, and inside the function I will pass the location because that's what we need to search. So let's also create this weather app function. So function weather app, and here we have the access of our location. So let's name it location as it is, and inside this function we will do all our works. So here, first of all, we will fetch the API, and after that we will generate our HTML for the fetched data. So first of all, let's fetch the API. So for that, I will create another separate function, which is the fetch API, I guess. Fetch API. So that's the name, and that's the function. Actually, we need to create the function here. So fetch API, and also make sure that you have the function key here. So now you can see that we have this fetch API function which we are calling under this weather app function. So in our fetch API, what I need actually, I need to fetch the API. For that I need the base URL of our API. So let's come back to our this weather stack, and as you can see that right here we have the documentation, and if I come here you can see that for the API features we have this current weather. So that's what we are interested in. So here for that we have this base URL. So let's copy this base URL and paste it, and also for that let's name a constant which is the base URL and paste it inside of a template literals. So you can see that these template literals, and inside this we can paste our URL. So that's the URL, and you can see that we have some space here. We don't need this space, just remove this space. So this will cause an error, so that's why we need to make sure that we don't have any kind of a space here. So perfect. So we don't have now any kind of a space, but inside the query it is okay to have a space. So now you can see that for the query we have New York, but we need to have the query as our search value is. So we need to change the query dynamically. For that what I can do, I can cut this New York and create a JavaScript expression, and we can use this location. So to use this location inside of our fetch API, we need to pass it as a parameter here. So let's pass it, so location, and now we can get it here. So location, and now you can use it in our base URL. So we have a base URL ready to fetch, and you can see that in the base URL we have access key. So also we need to make this access key. So the key is this one which we copied from our dashboard. So let's cut it and create a JavaScript expression, and inside that we can pass our key which is this one. So perfect, this base URL is ready. So now let's fetch it. So constant, the response of the fetch will be here, and we will fetch it with the fetch method, and this fetch method need our base URL. So that's it, we will fetch it and we will actually, so now we will fetch it and we will get the response here, and after that let's also console log the response here. So console log the response, and let's see what is happening. So in the console log we don't have anything. So in the console log we don't have anything. So let's search Dhaka, and now you can see that we have a promise which is pending. Why it is pending? So this fetch is actually will take some time. So what I need to do actually, I need to make sure that this line of code which is we are console logging response, so this line of code will execute after the fetch is complete. So for that we need to wait. So what I can do actually, we can use our await keyword here to wait. So now what it will do actually, it will wait till the fetch is end. Whenever the fetch is end, it will execute this console log. So it is okay, but we can't use this await keyword inside of a regular function. We need to make this function a async function. To make this function a async function, what I can do, I can add a keyword before this function which is the async. So now we can use our await keyword inside of this function. So perfect, now it will work. And if I search for Dhaka once again and inspect console log, now you can see that we have a perfect response where we are saying that the status is 200, which means the status text is okay, and all the other information that we don't need. So what we need actually, we need to get the data. So for the data we need to convert it as a JSON. So let's say that constant data equals, we can get the response and convert it as a JSON. So this res.json will also return as a promise, which means it will take some time. So for that we need to wait. So we can await here. So to resolve the promise, whenever the promise is resolved, means the res.json is sent, we will get the data and we will fetch it here. So now if I come here and search for the Dhaka, and if I open my console log here, I can see my requested all the data here. So now you can see that that's all the data that we have here. The city is the Dhaka, Bangladesh, and also all other things. But what we are interested is here, the current one. Now you can see that inside this current one, means this current, you can see that we have all the information for our weather. So that's what we are interested in. So now after that, what I can do, I can return this data from this fetch API. So let's return this data. So return, so after this console log, actually return data. So it will return, sorry, not that. So it will return this data, means whenever we'll call, we need to grab this data. So constant data. So there is another problem. Now we are getting this data from this fetch function, so fetch API function, but now this fetch API function is a async function. So we need to make sure that we have this await keyword once again, and whenever we have this await keyword, we need to make sure that we have a async keyword before our this function. So now it is good to go. So after this data, whenever we have the data, we need to generate a HTML with the data. So let's create another function which will actually generate our HTML. So generate HTML. So this function will generate the HTML and it will take our data. So we are getting the data. Now we are passing the data inside of our generate HTML. So let's create this function. So function generate HTML, and here let's say that inside that we have access of our data. So now inside the data we will create our HTML template. So let's have a constant which will have this name HTML, and for now let's have a empty template details or backticks, as you can see here. So inside that we will have our template. So for that, if you can see that we already have the template here, as you can see that that's the details div, that's what we are talking about. So that's what we need actually for our template. We have these details, and inside the details we have this information. We need to get this information. So copy this everything inside these details. So you can see that that's the details, and copy everything inside the details and paste it inside this template string or template details. Now what I have is every time I will search, it will generate HTML. Actually it will generate this template which we have here. So we don't need these things anymore here. So we can comment it out or you can delete. So after that, what I need actually, I need to append this. Whenever we generated this template successfully, we need to append this inside of these details. So we are cutting it, so we don't have it anymore. So what I need actually, whenever I will generate it here, I wanna append this inside these details. So I can say that details dot append child, or you can say that inner HTML equals to our generated HTML. So if I save, and if I say that Dhaka, now you can see that we have our template showing perfectly. We don't have it in our HTML. We are dynamically generating from this generate HTML function. So now what you need to do actually, we need to make this data dynamic. So now you can see that it is a static data. So we need to keep it dynamic. So you can see that for the temperature, we are getting the temperature here. So let's cut it and create our this JavaScript expression, and from inside this data, and Let me show you. If I open my inspect here, so console log, so that's the current one. Now you can see that. So what I need to do, actually inside the data I need to go to the current one, and from the current one I need to get the, what is the name, so that's the name, which is the temperature. So inside the data I need to go to the current, and inside the current I need to go to the temperature. So that's it. So now it will get the temperature, and after that let's have a degree. So I will copy this degree symbol. You can Google for it. I don't know the shortcut, keyboard shortcut for it, but I Googled it and I get it from there. We have now dynamically temperature, so let's test it out, and let's say that the now you can see that it is 28 degrees Celsius. It is looking good, actually it is dynamic. So let's say that NYC. So for the New York it is 18 degrees Celsius, which is perfect. So after that we need to also change this status. So for that let's come here in our inspect. We should see whatever is responsible for the status. So the status is, as you can see that, what is the status? So that's the one what we are looking. So weather description, instead of cloudy, cut it and create a JavaScript expression with $sign and curly brackets. And after that we can say that inside the data we have the current, and inside the current we have weather descriptions. But there is a problem. The problem is it is an array, means we need to map it. So map it. So let's say that weather description, and from that I can just map it dot map, and for each status we can say that item, there can be multiple status, that's why it is an array. So for each status I will have the item only, and we need to join them finally with a. So as you can see that we are joining with a space here, so that's will work. And if I save now, it should work perfectly. Now you can see that the weather status is perfectly, which is this one, cloudy. And after that let's have some information here. As you can see that I have this information 1 2 3 4, that's what we are getting here. So for the information I will show some humidity and also the wind speed and the pressure and the wind direction. So let me show you what I mean. Inside the console log you can see that that's the humidity, that's what I need for the information one. And also we have some other things. So you can see that wind speed, as you can see that wind direction, and also we have the pressure here. As you can see that that's the pressure here. So first of all let's come here and let's remove the information one, and instead of, let's say that humidity, so and here humidity, and let's have a hyphen, and after that we'll have our JavaScript expression here. So let's have it. So it is inside of our data, and dot, we can say that current, and inside that we have our humidity. So let me see actually. So that's it, humidity. And also let's have, actually let's remove these three and duplicate this one. So this one will be the, let's say that wind speed. So I just can say that wind speed will be, after the current we have this wind speed. So wind underscore speed. So wind underscore speed. Perfect. And after that we also need this wind direction. So let's duplicate it and let's say that wind direction. So for that I will use direction dir, and here also we have the dir for the wind direction. So after that I need the pressure. So how much pressure we have here? So pressure, so we need to get it. So that's the pressure we have here. So that's the pressure. and that's it. So if I save it and let's say that Dhaka, perfect, you can see that now we have 28 degree, it is cloudy, and the humidity, wind speed, and the wind direction, and the pressure. So the last thing I need actually, I need to get the unit. So what is the humidity? So it is actually 79%, and also the wind direction, it is the 9 km/h, and this wind direction, this is okay. So and the last one is the pressure, which is the millibar, and for that we need to use MB. For that you can come here, and after the humidity you can use percentage, and for the wind speed it is actually km/h, so it is that, so that's okay, km/h. And after that for the pressure we need to millibar, and for that I will use capital M, capital B, and that's it. We have now perfect status for our weather. So let's say that Chittagong. So now you can see that for the Chittagong, the wind direction is in the north. And after that also what I can do actually, I can show the query that I searched here. So for that I can say something like, after this div of our more info, I can create a div, and here I can say that class will be query, and here I can create a JavaScript expression, and here from our data I can show the query. Let me show you what I mean. So whenever I will search NYC, actually it is meaning the, so the search query, as you can see that it is the New York, United States of America. So that's what I want to show bottom here. So for that I need to go to the data, and for now we need to go to the request, and here I need to get this query. So inside the data, request, and from that I need to go to the query. And if I save now, let's search for NYC. Now you can see that we have these lines query, or the location actually for our this weather information. So let's also search for Delhi. Now you can see that Delhi, India, and the weather is nice here. And also let's say that Brazil. So Brazil, as you can see that it's sunny here, and we have this nice little weather app which is looking perfect. So let's actually check the responsiveness. So it is also looking good in mobile, as you can see that it's a nice little cute size app. So perfect. So let me show you one more thing what you can do actually in our this API. What I also have is, as you can see that these icon, we have dynamically icon. So you can use these icons to make your weather app more interesting. So you can see that we have this nice URL for our icon. So you can use those icons actually. So these icon will be dynamic according to your weather status. So you will have a nice icon according your weather application or weather information, sorry. So that's a good API, this weather stack. So the problem is one more problem. So let me show you the problem is, as you can see that that's a HTTP, that's not secure, means it is not HTTPS. So for free we have only access to this HTTP. So if you want to use HTTPS, you need to give some money. For now we don't need this HTTPS for this little application. We are okay with HTTP. So but there is a problem whenever you will push this little project or little app into a live website like CodePen or your own Netlify or whatever. In a live site it will not work actually. It will break whole application because it is not secure. In many cases like CodePen, they will not allow because that's not a secure web address. So as I said, whenever you push this application in a live site like CodePen or any other third-party website, it will break sometime, means they might not allow it because it is a HTTP, it is not secure. So to fix it, what you can do actually, you can come here to this website. That's a Course Anywhere Heroku website. So that's an Heroku app. So what you need to do actually, you need to grab this URL. I will link it in the description. So let me show you. So grab this URL, copy it. And what you need to do actually, you need to paste this URL before your base URL. So that's my base URL, and before my base URL, let me paste it. So as you can see that that's the URL that I copied, and you don't need to do anything else. So now let's see it is working or not with this Heroku app URL. So let's come here and say that NYC, and you can see that it is working with this URL. So perfect, it is working fine, and you can see that we can have some space. Actually, we need some space between this location and the information. So come here and say that after that call the class, which is the query, I believe, and say that margin top will be 20 pixel. Perfect, it is looking good, and that's it. Do I need anything else? And actually I need. So in the initial stage, as you can see that when someone will come first time in the app, as you can see that we have this blank div. Actually we can use it with a welcome message here. So let's have a h1, which will say that we'll have a class of pre-text. Now you can see that we have this nice welcome text, and whenever we'll come, we can see that welcome and search by location, and you can search the location that you want to get the weather information. So let's say that Dhaka, and hit enter, or you can click this button. Whenever you will submit it, you will get the information about the weather of the Dhaka, Bangladesh, or whatever you search. So you can see that we have nice little application, and it is ready to deploy. It will not cause any kind of break because we fixed that here. So that's it. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe the channel because I make this kind of video. I hope you will like upcoming videos too. So to see those upcoming videos, please subscribe the channel and also hit the bell icon. So I will see you in the next video. Till then, bye bye, Khuda Hafiz.
Prepare to die.